Gmod Tower was a popular Gmod server where you could hang out with other players in a lobby and play a variety of multiplayer games together. It was shut down in 2016, but in the early days of Gmod Tower's Lobby 2, a player named Craig discovered something creepy and out of place. If you stood in the corner of a theater lobby and consumed 2 different types of potions in rapid succession, you could no-clip into an area that contained a billboard. Upon pressing the E key on the keyboard, you will be teleported to a different level. According to Craig, both the game and their frapped screen recording software crashed. However, online users were skeptical if this was real since other players couldn't find the billboard in the game. But it turns out that the billboard only existed in Lobby 2's first 2 days before being removed. Reportedly, all of this was an Easter egg for a mysterious alternate reality game that ended up getting cancelled. In the last level of Doom 2, you face off against the big bad villain, who greets you by saying something unintelligible before the battle begins. In order to defeat it, you have to shoot a hole in its head with rockets. After a couple of hits, it'll die, and you'll beat the game. But if you no-clip through the antagonist, you'll find out that the boss wasn't actually the real boss. Beyond the opposing figure lies a hidden, inaccessible chamber that contains the severed head of Doom's creator, John Romero. You can kill it and beat the game this way. It turns out that the aforementioned hole that you shot rockets into was actually the room that contained Romero's head, and the splash damage from the rockets was hurting it. What's more, the voice heard in the beginning of the battle was actually saying in reverse, "To win the game, you must kill me, John Romero."
To win the game, you must kill me, John Romero.
Within the Gale map of Unreal Tournament 2004 lies a lethal hazard pit designed to kill any player unfortunate enough to fall into it. Typically, most players would immediately respawn if they died. However, if one resists the urge to skip the descent and allows their character to reach the bottom, they'll soon realize they're not alone. Trapped in a small room is a man with a mohawk, whose t-shirt bears the words Gorgeous Gorge. That's ostensibly a nod to the flamboyant 1940s wrestler of the same name.
They just presented yours truly with some gold Georgie pins. They're really beautiful.
In Halo Combat Evolved, during the mission 343 Guilty Spark, there is something hiding deep within the swamp. You start off the level inside a Pelican dropship and are supposed to disembark immediately. However, by throwing a grenade at the right moment, it's possible to remain inside the aircraft as it departs. The Pelican will drop you off outside of the map, and if you venture through the foggy terrain, you can encounter a mysterious lone marine standing in the middle of nowhere. In the Anniversary Edition, where updated visuals alter the environment, a tree is added directly in front of the Marine. However, he's standing so close to it that it further emphasizes the unnatural placement of the scene. Within the Good Time Club in BioShock Infinite, there's a secret room hiding behind a wall that's not meant to be accessed. No clipping into the room reveals a man sitting in a chair, and beside him are Booker's arms floating in the air. It almost looks like a torture room. If you ever felt like you were being watched in Red Dead Redemption 2, that's because you were. On the outer edges of the map, out of bounds, Native Americans could be seen observing you from a distance.
Yeah. Whoa!
The relationship between Native Americans and American settlers was fraught after years of conflict.
What do you think? If they wanted trouble, we wouldn't have seen them.
Poor bastards. We really screwed them over down here. Come on, let's not push our luck.
What happened?
Well, get in. I'll tell you.
In Super Mario Galaxy 2, you're also being watched, this time by supernatural entities. If you look up on a cliff in the Shiverborn Galaxy level, there are dark figures with hollow eyes staring down at you. In the game's files, they're ominously named Hell Valley Sky Tree. At first, there appears to be 3 of them, but if you use an emulator and take control of the camera, you can find a 4th smaller creature hiding. While they all appear small from a distance, the figures are actually 30 to 100 times the height of Mario. The creatures can also be seen in the remaster, as well as in WarioWare Get It Together. It's speculated that the beings are tree spirits from Japanese folklore called Kodama. If you attempt to cut one of the trees down, blood will come out and you'll be cursed. In the physics-based sandbox game GoreBox, there are containers in one map called Afterglow. They look ordinary, but tucked in between them is a tool gun. If you interact with it, you'll be dropped into a creepy area that contains a mysterious house. The door can't be opened, but if you interact with it, you'll unlock an achievement that implies that you can enter the house somehow. In later versions of the game, the area and house were updated. Inside the home, there's a computer monitor with a cracked screen that shows an illegible email written by you, the character that you play as. The email is addressed to your former friend named Gary Sato, who you may have killed. What's more, exiting to the main menu was not possible by normal means. To leave, you had to open the settings and enable a checkbox labeled Imitation. Only then would pressing Escape summon a new option called Right Choice. Selecting it finally allowed you to exit the map. In the original Resident Evil 2, you'll stumble upon the corpse of a decapitated policeman in a hallway. It's here where a liquor monster drops down from the ceiling to attack you. It turns out, however, that the original plan was to have the policeman's severed head drop down from the ceiling right before the liquor appears. The head can be found on the ceiling out of bounds, and you can get a better look at it if you use an emulator and switch the aspect ratio to widescreen. In Payday 2, there are more than just guards you should watch out for. In the Shacklethorne auction level, a giant shadowy figure can randomly be seen in the clouds during a thunderstorm. The figure is believed to be Nephilim, which are giant mysterious beings mentioned in the Book of Genesis. They are often interpreted as the offspring of humans and the sons of God. The Nephilim are foreshadowed throughout Payday 2 and are tied into the game's hidden and obscure lore that's buried in ancient myths, mysterious artifacts, secret societies, and cryptic Arg-like puzzles. Reportedly, the Nephilim were part of a cancelled ending that was going to be made up of heists that would have had you fighting the Nephilim themselves. That'll do it for this episode. For more episodes, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for notifications. Good night and good luck.